Food can be one of the biggest expenses in your budget. I mean, you are literally eating your budget alive if you're not budgeting for food and groceries. So in this video, I'm going to cover some tips to help you prep, shop, and bring it all home on a budget using some of my tools, including the receipt envelope and the grocery tracker. So before we get into it, if you want these exact same templates that I'm going to use in this video, you can do so by getting it in my How to Control Your Spending workbook, which is on sale, using the link below if you're interested. All right, let's go ahead and hop into the video. Hey guys, it's Justine with Debt Free Millennials, the channel to help you crush your debt and live payment free. I always feel like I make crush like a 2-syllable word instead of 1 syllable. Also, yes, I did get a haircut, guys. It was time for a change. So, with new cut, new vibes, we are going to get into grocery budgeting. I feel like this is one of those things where you can get into that same old habit of however you grocery shop, whether it's making a list or just going in blind and throwing things into the cart. It can be a very hard habit to break. However, if you are using some of these tools that I'm going to be displaying in this video, I think it's going to make grocery budgeting a lot easier for you and simple to stay consistent with. Now, I was looking on the USDA's recent food purchases report, and basically they do a breakdown of how much families are spending on average per month on food, on groceries, and this was really interesting. Take a look at this. All right, so they have basically the cost of food at home using the average from April 2020. This was the most recent report that I was able to pull, and you can see millennials are kind of lumped into this large category, 19 to 50 years old, and they break it down for male and female. And if you look over in the far right column under monthly cost, you're going to see the thrifty, low cost, moderate, and liberal plans. And if you're a single millennial guy, you could spend anywhere from roughly $176 for the thrifty plan, all the way up to $356. Girls, it was a little bit smaller at $171 for the cheap plan, and then up to $339 per month. If you are married, then you're going to look down here at the family plan. So just for a family of 2, no kids, you're going to be spending roughly between $400 to $793 per month on groceries. And then those of you with kids, they have an average of $585 per month for the cheap one, for family with young children, up to $1,100 for a family of 4 on the liberal plan. So you can see just by taking the averages that the plans are kind of all over the place, right? I think it really depends on where you live, how restaurants, takeout, that sort of stuff comes into play, and then how often you're cooking, and then what your food choices are. So for the first part of this video, we're going to be talking about prep. So if you don't know how much you're spending on groceries, the best thing that you can do for yourself is look back at the last 3 months of spending on groceries. Go inside of your credit card account or bank account and take a look at all of the times you went to the grocery store or to Costco or Sam's. Add those numbers up and then take an average of those last 3 months. That's going to give you an average of roughly what you're spending at the grocery store every single month, and then you can better forecast and accurately budget for food. So Kyle and I have done this for ourselves, and we were averaging roughly $500 before the pandemic. With the pandemic in place, it's been a little bit up and down, so I'm going to be using my groceries tracker to show you exactly how much I've been spending so far. My next tip for you is to meal prep. I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times, but honestly, it's going to save you so much time and money when you meal prep before you go to the grocery store. So what I mean by that is I'm going to show you this terrible grocery list. This is my grocery list. On the back of my grocery list, I have some meals already kind of outlined. I typically try to meal plan for 3 to 4 days. So that's my tip for you. Instead of meal planning for the entire week, which for me can get very stressful, and also I want to allow for a little bit of wiggle room when I don't feel like cooking, on the days I just want to have off, on the days that I want to have takeout, which is usually Fridays, then I'm going to allow for that by meal prepping for only 3 to 4 days within the week. If you can handle that, then you have the ability to choose leftovers, to choose a restaurant in between, and I think that's going to help you feel sane and not like you have to constantly stay on top of the meal prep. I also typically write things down on a list because I'm forgetful, and if it's not on the list, then I'm not buying it. It also really helps rein in on that impulse shopping. I'm definitely still picking up things here and there, but I'm creating more awareness by saying, this is an impulse purchase. Am I actually going to throw this in the cart? Do I really need this, or can I stick to what's on the list? Lists are extremely helpful. Okay, the third part of this video is all about actually being at the grocery store. So when you're at the grocery store, for me, it's really important that you know the cost difference between what the store brand is, what that generic brand is, versus name brand. So do the cost comparison. Is the Tillamook cheese going to be a lot more expensive than your Kroger's cheese? There's really not much of a taste difference there, and you could be saving yourself, $1 or more on just that transaction. Now imagine multiplying that same effort, same method across various different brands. Canned tuna, mayonnaise, any type of condiments. Also, you want to make sure that you are signed up for your free loyalty shopper cards with your grocery store. This has saved me a lot of money by shopping at Kroger and signing up for their loyalty program and shopping the yellow price tags. Now, one thing that I've noticed is just because it has a yellow price tag doesn't always mean that it is the cheapest option. So sometimes they do that to get you to buy multiple quantities of that same product. So a box of brownie batter, if they want you to buy multiples, they're going to have it in a yellow sticker that says 2 for $5, when you could just get a generic brand box mix for $1.39. So you see what they're doing there? 2 for $5 means it's $2.50 per box, but I found one that's for $1.39. So don't be afraid to take your time and shop the tags, even if they're not the yellow tags. You want to make sure you're looking at everything before you make that choice. Another thing that you can do to meal prep prior to going to the grocery store is checking your fridge and your pantry and your freezer first. So you're going to take a look how crazy this is. You're going to take a look at everything that is within your freezer and see what you can use. A lot of times people just are not into what they have in the freezer, not into what they have in their pantry, but honestly, it's going to save you a lot of money and also save food by using what you already have. Have your own version of Cutthroat Kitchen. I actually also like to look inside of my pantry. So this is what we have here. And I'm looking at, okay, I have a big bag of almond flour. Maybe I can do something with that. I can, make some chili with that diced tomatoes and just figure out what do I have on hand where I could create some extra couple of days worth of food and break up my time going to the grocery store. If you are really focused on your financial goals, then you need to be focused on how you can save money in other areas, and this is one way to do it. Okay, the next thing that you're going to want to do when you get home is make sure you have the receipt on hand. And what I like to do is I like to use receipt envelopes. This envelope is from my workbook, and this way it's the tangible thing that keeps me focused to say, oh wow, I already have gone to the grocery store 3 or 4 times this month. Maybe I need to recheck what I have in my refrigerator or my pantry and see what I can make before I make another trip. So this tangible reminder has helped me a ton. Also, when you save your receipts, then you can scan them, upload them, and get points on the money that you spent at the grocery store using the Fetch app rewards. This is the only grocery shopping app that I use. You don't have to clip coupons. You can easily save up points and then redeem those points for gift cards, which I like to use either as a treat yourself, special extra reward for me, or I like to use them for Christmas and birthday gifts. The next thing after I get home is I actually fill out my groceries tracker. Now I'm gonna be filling this out for the month of June. Right now we're in the middle of the month, so I'm going to write down exactly where I've been, and I know exactly where I've been because I have my receipts saved up, and then tally up exactly how much I've spent so far. So come down to the table and we'll fill this out together. Okay, so the first thing that I like to do when I get home after everything has been put away is I like to go through my grocery receipt and look for things that don't belong in the grocery budget. So for me, anything that is alcohol related, or maybe it's shopping, fun things for me, flowers, candles, whatnot. If I'm getting that from the grocery store, I'm going to remove it from the grocery budget and put it in its correct spot on my budget spreadsheet. So I'm just going to go down this really quickly and look for anything that might not belong. Okay, so the mixed bouquet, those were flowers that I bought for myself. So I'm going to circle that and I'm going to remove it from the total amount. Okay, vodka is also going to be removed, and that will get moved to the alcohol budget. The bouquet is going to be fun money. That's going to go into the fun money budget. Let's see, Friar's Ale. By the way, this is the San Diego Padres baseball team's beer. It's really good. And I think that is it for this shopping trip. So I'm going to remove those three things and then I'm going to add it to my groceries tracker. All right, so we have $398.83 minus $14.99 minus. So I spent $336.86 on Costco. And then I'm going to fill out my groceries tracker here. So we're going to do the month is June, and our budgeted amount. Okay, so our budgeted amount for June I had wrote into our budget was $750, which this is really high. But I think I had it higher because I wasn't quite sure how much money we would be spending on the pandemic. So I'm going to go back to my grocery receipt. And this was on June 10th. I went to Costco and I spent $336.86. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing for Ralph's. I'm going to go back to my grocery receipt and take a look at exactly what I bought, just looking for anything that doesn't belong in the grocery budget, which I think most of this stuff does. Okay, so tequila, another type of tequila, Modelo, and a candle. Okay, I'm going to keep you might see this Skintimate shave gel. I'm going to keep that there because I do lump my toiletries in with my grocery budget. So I spent $219.64 on this trip. So I'm going to subtract $22.99. Okay, so I spent $140.68 on groceries. So I'm going to go back to my tracker and add that in. Okay. So far for the month of June, I have spent in Costco and Ralph's, so I'm going to add those up together. And I've spent $477.54 out of my $750 budget, I still have $272.46 left. Now, knowing that I am already more than halfway through the month, I know that this is most likely going to last us the next 2 weeks. So I think I can get away with just spending roughly $477 on groceries, which is around my normal budget. And if you remember from the USDA report for the groceries cost plan for a family of 2 between ages 19 and 50, that moderate cost plan was around $635 and the low cost plan was $513. So I'd say we are right on track to hit that average low cost plan that the USDA pulled together. Okay, so that's exactly how I do my grocery shopping, prepping, and tracking using these tools. Another tip that I want to mention, that if you see produce in your refrigerator that's close to expiring, move that stuff over to the freezer. I've done this plenty of times, especially with Costco items. So I'll buy a big bag of green beans, I'll get halfway through them, and then the next week I'm like, oh, I think those might be close to expiring. Put them in the freezer. I've done that with vegetables. I've done it with strawberries, blueberries, anything that you can just toss into the freezer and still get use out of them and not wasting food and saving yourself another trip to the grocery store. Don't forget, if you want to use these exact same tools that I'm using, you can do so by purchasing the How to Control Your Spending workbook. I will link to that in the description below. And I'd love to know, please comment how much you are spending on groceries each month. This is going to look different based off of where you live. This is how much I'm spending in San Diego for 2 people, but I'd love to know how much you're spending on groceries in your neck of the woods and then how many people you're feeding. Groceries, comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.